Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm so excited that Adolescence is getting global attention because it carries such an important message. In today's video, I'll be talking about the new Netflix miniseries Adolescence, which has been breaking records. I've divided the video into 3 parts. No spoiler introduction. A quick overview of what the series is about. Viewing guide. If you haven't watched it yet, I'll help you understand how to get the most out of it. Spoiler review, my personal thoughts and a deep dive into the series. Now let's talk about Adolescence. This is a British crime drama set in 2025, now streaming on Netflix. It was created by Jack Thorne and Stephen Graham, who not only co-created it, but also plays the father in the series. Let's jump in. One of the coolest things about Adolescence is that Stephen Graham isn't just acting in it. He's also one of the main writers. He played a big role in shaping the story and making it even more impactful.
What's going on? I'm going to start off with asking you.
The series follows Jamie Miller, a 13-year-old played by Owen Cooper who gets arrested for the murder of his schoolmate. The show has 4 episodes, each about an hour long. What makes it really special is that every episode is filmed in one continuous shot, no cuts. Now, many movies and shows use clever camera tricks and hidden edits to look like they were filmed in one take. A great example is the movie 1917, which was edited to seem like a continuous shot. But Adolescence is different. It was filmed completely in real time with no hidden cuts, making it even more impressive. This style of filmmaking isn't entirely new. One of my favorite movies, Victoria, was also shot in a single take. Pulling off this kind of filming takes a lot of practice and precise coordination. Every actor, camera operator, and crew member has to be in sync because there's no room for mistakes. But of course, mistakes still happen. On average, each episode of Adolescence took about 10 takes to get right. For example, Stephen Graham shared that the first episode we see is actually the second take. They had to restart because of a power outage at the police station. The final episode? That was the 14th take because of unexpected issues like actor slip-ups and behind-the-scenes mishaps. Now imagine the pressure on the actors. Carrying a whole episode without a single mistake is no easy task. That's what makes this series even more impressive. Since the actors are performing live in front of the camera, even the smallest mistake, like someone making an unexpected sound, means they have to start the entire episode over from the beginning. What makes this even more impressive is that Owen Cooper, who plays Jamie, had never acted professionally before. He was just 13 or 15 years old when he took on this intense role. He was chosen from over 500 auditions, and his performance is absolutely incredible. Why Adolescence might not be what you expect. This series is getting a lot of attention worldwide, but I think if you go into it with the wrong expectations, you might feel disappointed after the first episode and stop watching, which would be a shame. That's why I want to help you understand what to expect, so you can enjoy it all the way to the final episode. The first episode starts with a shock. The police suddenly burst into Jamie's house, handcuff him, and take him away in front of his terrified family. He's just 13 years old, and he's so scared that he wets himself. It's an intense and emotional moment that grabs your attention right away. From that point on, your mind is racing. What would I do if I were his family? What is Jamie thinking as this happens? Did he really commit murder, or is this all a mistake? For the entire first episode, you can't look away. The tension is so strong that you might even find yourself holding your breath. It's an edge-of-your-seat thriller that keeps you hooked. After such a thrilling start, your brain expects the same kind of intensity in every episode. But here's the thing, you won't get that. The first episode feels like a thriller, but as the series goes on, it shifts into deep drama. By the time you reach episode 4, the excitement is gone. Instead, the story dives into emotions, characters, and the true impact of what happened. So if you're expecting non-stop suspense, you might feel let down. But if you know in advance that the series slowly transitions into a powerful drama, you'll appreciate it much more. Trust me, stick with it, and by the end, you'll realize just how meaningful adolescence really is. As we go deeper into the series, we start to understand the true meaning behind the events and the bigger issues they explore. If you watch Adolescence knowing that the first episode will be intense, but the following episodes will slow down and focus more on the deeper story, you'll enjoy it much more. How to watch Adolescence the right way. Pay close attention to the dialogues, every conversation matters. The ping-pong style exchanges between characters are key to understanding what's happening. Don't expect constant action, instead be ready for a thought-provoking drama. Why is this series so important? The first episode isn't just one of the most gripping openings we've seen. It also carries a powerful message that everyone should be aware of. So let yourself get swept up in the shock of episode 1, and then dive deeper into the story as it unfolds. Spoiler warning. Let's talk about the ending of episode 1. The moment we see the CCTV footage confirming that Jamie really did stab the girl, it feels like cold water being poured over our heads. But here's why this series is so important. Stephen Graham created it in response to the alarming rise in knife-related violence among young people in the UK. Sadly, Adolescence reflects real-life events like the murder of 13-year-old Ava White, who was stabbed by a 14-year-old boy in Liverpool in 2021 after an argument over a Snapchat video. The tragic killing of 15-year-old Eliane Andam, who was stabbed by a 17-year-old. Graham wanted to raise awareness and explore the reasons behind these violent acts, and he did an incredible job. His performance alone in this series is so powerful. Owen Cooper's incredible performance. When I say Cooper played his role perfectly, I really mean it. Take this moment from the first episode, just look at his expression. It's a knowing look, almost like a killer's stare. But he does it so subtly that we still doubt his guilt. Deep down, we hope he's innocent. So, after the shocking events of episode 1, the big question is, why did he do this? Is there something in his family history? Did his father play a role, or was it something else? Episode 2. Entering the hell of school. This episode investigates the reasons behind Jamie's actions, and it's done masterfully. The way it handles such a dark topic in a story about young teenagers is incredible. The camera movement inside the school is perfect, it makes you feel like you're right there. But the most important theme of this episode is the gap between generations. Understanding the new generation. One key scene focuses on a detective who had a rough childhood and used to be a troublemaker himself. But now he's out of touch with today's teenagers. This is something we need to be aware of. The new generation is very different from the previous one. Their way of thinking is often completely different from their parents. Some things in life stay the same, but many things like technology have changed everything. Teenagers today face huge pressures, especially from their classmates. And with technology and social media, those pressures are stronger than ever. The previous generation struggles to understand this new world, so how can they guide and protect their kids? Social media and the root of the problem. One of the most powerful moments in the episode is the confrontation between the police officer and his son at school. Adam tells his father, "You're not handling the case well, and I'm upset about it. You just looked at Instagram." At first, this seems like a simple complaint. But as we dig deeper, we realize a few stickers and short messages on Instagram reveal that Katie was bullying Jamie. Jamie was influenced by a group that promotes violence against women. The previous generation might miss these signs because they don't fully understand the power of online interactions. In just a few messages, a few symbols, we see Jamie's real motivation, something invisible to older generations but clear to those who understand the digital world. The importance of understanding social media. There's a moment in the series where the police officer struggles to understand the role of social media in the case. He says something like, "The color of a heart emoji can change the whole meaning of a message." And then he adds, "My son doesn't even have a girlfriend." This moment highlights how someone in charge of such an important investigation can be completely unaware of the influence of small online interactions, like an emoji, a comment, or a sticker on Instagram. But those tiny details played a role in pushing Jamie toward committing such a terrible act. At that moment, the officer realizes something bigger. I don't understand this case. I don't even understand my own son. And that's exactly the message the creators want to send. This series isn't about demonizing Jamie or just focusing on his crime. It's about warning society about what can happen if we don't pay attention. Episode 3. Inside the Rehabilitation Center. 7 months later, Jamie is in a rehab facility, and this episode focuses on understanding his character on a deeper level. One of the most powerful scenes is his therapy session where Jamie, a sharp and intelligent teenager, starts challenging the psychologist. The dialogue moves fast, like a ping-pong match. Every word matters, and you need to listen carefully to catch the deeper meaning. The first time I watched it, I felt a bit lost, but the second time I paid closer attention, and it made a huge difference. Jamie's struggles and hidden rage. Early in the episode, we see Jamie get into a violent fight with another teenager. Then, during his session with the psychologist, his emotions fluctuate wildly. One moment he's calm, the next, he's furious. This shows us that Jamie has serious anger control issues, regrets his actions quickly, but keeps making the same mistakes. The psychologist tries to find the root of Jamie's anger and focuses on his father. Jamie mentions that his father is a bit neurotic, but shrugs it off like it's not a big deal. But the psychologist keeps pushing, digging into Jamie's thoughts on masculinity, how he views women, how he defines his own identity. At one point, it feels like the psychologist is deliberately provoking Jamie, trying to push him to his breaking point so he'll finally admit something important. And for a brief moment, Jamie almost confesses, but then immediately denies it. A fascinating session for psychology experts. This therapy session is one of the most interesting moments in the series. For anyone interested in psychology, this scene is packed with mind games between Jamie and the therapist, subtle power shifts as Jamie tries to regain control, clues about Jamie's past hidden in what he says and what he refuses to say. This episode takes us deeper inside Jamie's mind, making us question what really shaped him into this person. Is he fully responsible for his actions? Could things have turned out differently if someone had understood him sooner? Episode 4. 13 months later. The family's pain. This episode shifts the focus back to Jamie's family, showing how this tragic event has affected them all, especially his father. It forces them to ask the hardest question. What did we do that led our child to this? We see that Jamie's father wanted to be better than his own father, but in the process he may have hurt Jamie in a different way. For example, instead of supporting Jamie's true interests, he pushed him into sports, something Jamie wasn't naturally good at. When Jamie struggled, his father made him feel inadequate instead of encouraging him. This highlights a common misunderstanding in parenting, thinking that as long as a child is physically home, they are safe. But the reality is, Jamie wasn't alone in his room. He was connected to thousands of outside influences through the internet and social media. Like father, like son. Earlier, we saw how the detective and his son were completely different people, almost as if they were from different worlds. Here, we see something similar with Jamie and his father, Eddie. Eddie clearly has anger issues, just like Jamie. He loses his temper easily, just like Jamie. But there's a key difference. Eddie has just enough control to hold himself back before things go too far. The series doesn't just focus on Jamie's actions. It looks at how patterns of behavior can be passed down through generations. This makes us wonder, is anger inherited? Or is it something we learn from watching others? And more importantly, can it be stopped before it's too late? The key difference between father and son. One of the most interesting things in this series is how it explores the relationship between Jamie and his father. We see that Jamie's family is actually a loving one. His father is caring, affectionate towards his wife and kids, and seems to have done his best. But here's the question the series asks. What if Jamie is just like his father, but the world he grew up in pushed him toward a different path? This is what makes Adolescence so powerful. It's not just about one tragic event, it's about how the world around us shapes young people. That's why the biggest warning in this series is that parents and the older generation need to understand today's world if they truly want to protect and guide their children. A powerful message. At one point, Jamie's father asks, "How did we raise such a wonderful girl?" And Jamie's mother replies, "The same way we raised our son." This moment perfectly sums up the core message of the series. Adolescence is a time of change, where young people develop their own ideas, influenced by both family and society. And if parents don't recognize the challenges their kids face today, they might lose them without even realizing it. Adolescence is an important and thought-provoking series that everyone should watch. These were my impressions, and I hope they were helpful. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more movie recommendations. See you in the next video.